Good morning. I hope you are all doing well. Yesterday we talked about medications and tablets on Pesach, whether they need to be kasher la Pesach or not. Today I want to move on to talk about the mitzvah of bidikat chametz, searching the house for chametz before Pesach. And unfortunately, people come into Pesach stressed and anxious and tired due to the misconceptions with regards to this mitzvah of bidikat chametz. I want to try to clarify some of these misconceptions and to ensure that we do the mitzvah of bidikat chametz properly, but not beyond what we need to be doing. So the mitzvah of bidikat chametz is the rabbinic mitzvah, because from the Torah's perspective, one can fulfill the ensuring that one owns no chametz by nullifying and abandoning any ownership rights which he has over chametz. So from the Torah's perspective, a person can just say, I am mafkir, I abandon my ownership rights to all the chametz in my house, and that would suffice. For two reasons. The Hachamim said that's not sufficient, and one needs to actually check for chametz and take it out of his property. And those two reasons are, firstly, that a person may not nullify it belev shalem, with a complete and genuine heart. If a person has thousands of pounds of whiskies lined up in his cupboard, and he says before Pesach that I am nullifying my ownership rights on it, is that genuine? And if someone wants to come into his house over Pesach, a non-Jew, and ask for those, would he resist the non-Jew taking it? If he really did abandon it, then he's going to have to let the non-Jew take it, because it no longer belongs to him. So they were concerned you're not going to do it with a complete heart, and therefore they said you have to actually take it out of your property. That's the first reason given. The second reason is that even if you do nullify it with a sincere heart, nonetheless, you may be tempted to eat it over Pesach, and therefore, again, it's not enough to nullify it, you have to actually check for it and take it out of your possession. However, the main halacha, which we Sfaradim and even the Mishnah Berurah for the Ashkenazim seems to follow, is that we are looking mainly for a kazait of chametz. A kazait, there are varying opinions what exactly a kazait is, but this is something between 18 to 27 grams according to most opinions. And that's the size of half a piece of bread or so. That's the amount of chametz a person is looking for. A person should not be looking for crumbs or anything, even more than crumbs, anything smaller than the amount I've just said, because that is not part of the mitzvah of bidikat chametz. And any crumbs which a person does own, then that is, he absolves himself of owning chametz by nullifying it in the night of bidikat chametz and also on the eve of Pesach. And so, when going around the house in places where one won't be eating over Pesach, so I'm not talking about the kitchen or the dining room, but in all other parts of the house, even if chametz is brought into those places, all one needs to be looking for is a sizable amount of chametz. There's no need to be taking apart things and looking for tiny pieces. That's all unnecessary, and yes, if one wants to do that for spring cleaning, that's absolutely fine. One shouldn't blame Pesach for that and come into Pesach tired and stressed because they want to spring clean a few days before Pesach. What we're looking for is a kazait of chametz. Secondly, is that in places where chametz is not usually brought, then one doesn't need to worry about checking it. And so if one doesn't eat in one's bedroom, then there's no need to check that at all. You can just have a quick scan around the room and that's it. If children generally come to that room, then you have to assume that there may be chametz in that, and you'd have to check anywhere where the children can reach to see that there's no chametz in any cupboards, etc. But again, we're not looking for tiny crumbs of chametz, we're looking for just pieces, and you can go around the whole house outside of the kitchen and the dining room in an hour or so, just checking for pieces of chametz, opening cupboards, looking and scanning, and if there's nothing there considerable, then one can move on, and that's fine. In places where one will be eating, or like in the kitchen where you're going to be preparing food, then yes, one should be more meticulous and try to ensure that there aren't even any crumbs, to ensure that it doesn't fall into the food, which you're going to use over Pesach. But in essence, the main mitzvah of bidikat chametz is checking for a kazait of chametz before Pesach. Next week we will begin to go through the Seder and explain each part of it with the relevant halachot. Have a wonderful day and Shabbat Shalom. All the very best.